Good day, everyone. My topic is about biography of a prominent Filipino, and I have chosen Gabriela Silang. Maria Josefa Gabriela Carino Silang was born on March 19, 1731, at Barrio of Canyugan, Santa Ilocos Sur. She died at September 29, 1763, and her first husband was Thomas Milian, and her second husband was Diego Silang. Gabriela Silang was a Filipino military leader, best remembered for her role being a fearless female leader of the Ilocano independence movement against Spanish colonialism. She took over the leadership from her second husband, Diego Silang, after his assassination in 1763. Gabriela Silang was born in Barangay Canyugan, Santa Ilocos Sur on March 19, 1731. Her father, Anselmo Carino, was a Spanish Ilocano who was a descendant of Ignacio Carino, the first Galician from Spain to reach Candon, Ilocos Sur in the late 17th century. And her mother was a Tingian from Tingian Valle of San Quintin Abra, which is now Pidigan. She received a Catholic upbringing from the parish priest of the town and obtained her elementary education at the town's convent school. Gabriela was raised by a priest, who later arranged her marriage to a wealthy businessman named Don Tomas Milian. They married in 1751 and shortly after he died of old age. After being widowed by her first husband, Gabriela met Diego Silang. Diego Silang is a mixed Pangasinense and Ilocano. He led one of the most uprising against Spaniard in 1762. A man of great intelligence, courage, and determination. They got married in 1757. Diego Silang believed and fought towards the freedom of the Filipino people. So matapos ang pagiging byuda ni Gabriela Silang ay nakilala niya si Diego Silang, which is si Diego Silang yung isa sa mga nakikipaglaban sa mga Spaniards para sa kalayaan ng mga Pilipino. His revolt was fueled by grievances originating from Spanish taxation and abuses, and by his belief in self-government, that the administration and leadership of the Roman Catholic Church and government in the province of Ilocos should be led to trained Ilocano officials. Gabriela joined the revolt against the Spaniards alongside Diego in 1762. During this revolt, Gabriela became one of the closest advisors of Diego, as well as his unofficial aide-de-camp during skirmishes with Spanish troops. She was also a major figure in her husband's cooperation with the British, who was at the time declared war on Spain, as part of what would later be known as the 7 Years' War. Diego's revolt was successful at first. However, Spanish authorities retaliated by offering a reward for his assassination. Consequently, his fellow locals, Miguel Vicos and Federico Vic, sided with the Spaniards and killed him and Vegan on May 28, 1763. So, yung mga kaibigan niya, binitray siya para lamang magkaroon ng reward galing sa mga Spaniards. Sumapi ang mga kaibigan niya sa mga Spaniards at pinatay siya. After Diego's assassination, Gabriela vowed to avenge his death and to continue the fight. Gabriela took her husband's place as the leader of the rebellion. Their first battle in her hometown, Santa, was a success. After then, Spaniards who had never felt threatened by a Filipino woman before were insistent on defeating Gabriela. Gabriela and her men then traveled to Pidigan Abra, her mother's hometown, to establish a new base. She was joined by a paternal uncle, Nicolas Carino, who temporarily took command of the rebel forces, gathering 2,000 men loyal to Diego Silang. Gabriela, along with her troops, descended on Vigan on September 10, 1763, then took the lead on various attacks against Spanish forces. Some won but others lost, with numerous casualties on both sides. When the attacks were over, Gabriela's forces were overwhelmed. For that reason, Gabriela and 90 of her followers were captured. She was returned to Vigan, where she suffered humiliation and psychological torture, as she was forced to witness the flogging of hundreds of her suspected followers and the hanging of 90 more. On September 20, 1763, she herself, then only 32 years old, went calmly and courageously to her execution. This immortalized image of Gabriela as fierce Filipino women wielding a volo on horseback, which is known as La Generala. Gabriela Silang is an enduring symbol of the courage and the fierce leadership of the Filipino women. She reminds us of the significance and the necessity of revolutionary women and our quest to end exploitation and injustices in our country. Let's now talk about the legacy of Gabriela Silang. Her time of leadership had been short, but her martyrdom and courage brought a lasting example to women of the Philippines. As Gabriela assumed her husband role being the commander of rebel troops, she became the first female leader of the Philippine Revolution. Gabriela Silang is commemorated as the Joan of Arc of Elocandia. The organization and party list Gabriela Women's Party, General Assembly, binding women for reforms, integrity, equality, leadership, and action, was founded in April 1984 in her honor and advocates for the right and issues for women. On November 15, 1995, Gabriela Silang was included in the 9 Filipino historical figures to be recognized as national heroes. Among those listed are Jose Rizal, Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Aguinaldo, Apolinario Mavini, Marcelo H. Del Pilar, Sultan Dipatuan Kudarat, Juan Luna, and Melchora Aquino. However, no action was taken after the report was submitted to the Department of Education, Culture and Sports on November 22, 1995. This was probably because any action might cause a number of requests for proclamation or trigger debates that involve historical controversies about the heroes. Today, in this day and age, may we honor and continue the legacy of Gabriela Silang by standing up against depression and exploitation, by taking action towards achieving justice and peace in our communities. Because without justice, there could be no peace, and without peace, prosperity will never be a reality. That's all. Thank you, sir.